Another flyweight fight here. Karine Silva coming in at minus 170 against Maryna Moroz, who sits at plus 140. Over under 2.5 rounds, minus 115 for the over, minus 115 for the under. Karine Silva coming in here quite the win streak. Maryna Moroz coming off a loss to Jennifer Maia. She's been in and out of fights. She's had a ton of canceled bouts. She's only had 2 fights in the last 3 years, and she won one of them against Maria Agapova back in 2022, and the loss to Jennifer Maia at the end of last year. If you notice, or if you didn't know, you know now, Karine Silva and Maryna Moroz, this will be a rematch in the making since 2014. So it's been almost 9 years since they last fought. Maryna Moroz got a round 1 submission by armbar in that fight. That was on the XFC International 7, November 1st, 2014 to be exact. Maryna Moroz was 4-0. Karine Silva was 5-1 at the time. So now they're going for a rematch here in the UFC. Pretty crazy to think about that. Who do you think gets the win?
Yeah, it's an interesting fight. Like Karine Silva, from what we've seen out of her in the UFC so far, like she looks like a monster. Another girl that, could be on the sauce. She's put together. She fights that way. All 3 of her wins in the UFC so far come by submission. Ketlin Souza, Poliana Botelho, and the third fighter, Jan Quahile on the Dana White's Contender Series. She's just like your epitome of dominant fighter. You watch her tape on the feet. She's not like fast, and she doesn't put together like these crazy combinations, but like when she lands, she's obviously got some power, and she uses it well to close the distance, get you to the ground. And so far in her career, all it takes is 1 takedown, and she's finishing fights. On the other side, Moroz hasn't fought, the best competition, but not the worst either. She lost to Jennifer Maia, who's a good all-around fighter, on the judges' scorecards, which I think it was a clear win for Maia. And then she beat Maria Agapova, Mauro Bueno Silva, which was 3 years ago, and she, looked really good in that fight, landed some takedowns, outstruck her by a large margin. And then her last one before that was Sabina Mazo. So, like I said, not fighting the best competition in the world, not fighting the worst. She's got a well-rounded game. She will land takedowns. Her takedown defense isn't the best. We've seen her get taken down, and that concerns me against a girl like Karine Silva, who's super strong and active trying to get those takedowns, and who's super dominant with the control on top and looking for those submissions. On the feet, though, Moroz is good. She throws decent volume, but I just think this fight comes down to who's going to get it to the ground and who's going to keep it on, who's going to stay on top. And everything in me is telling me Karine Silva. I wouldn't mind a dog shot here if the line grew a little more, but anything under minus 200 right now for Karine Silva, I think you almost have to take just based off how dominant she has been. So, yeah, give me Karine Silva here. I was really close to I've been thinking about taking the dog here, but I don't know, man. The more I think about it, I just think Karine Silva is that chick.
Yeah, I could understand a dog shot here because you're probably getting a good amount of value based off Moroz coming off a loss, and then you look at a girl like Karine Silva, who's a complete finisher and has gotten back-to-back finishes. Like, she is a finish. I don't want to say finisher bust, but a pure finisher. She's got 8 KOs on her record and 8 submissions. So she gets it done inside the distance. And we're looking at this one against Maryna Moroz, who is, she hasn't been as active, and she's never been finished. So it's kind of a tough one there to look at and be like, okay, clear path to victory for Karine Silva. But overall, I just think she has a little bit more upside. She is the favorite, so I'm not seeing anything crazy there. But Maryna Moroz maybe the better, I want to say, like, more experience in the UFC. Karine Silva, not as many fights, but I do think she gets it done here. Just overall better, more explosive athlete coming in here. Women's MMA, I usually like to favor the better athlete just because they can make up for stuff. So I got to go with Karine Silva.